Any questions or revisions needed? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve. In a second. Moved and seconded. Who moved?
I did.
You, James, and second with Joel. Okay. Moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. All right. Community police. I think they flipped a coin and Officer Tate is going first. Or they flipped something, I think, right?
I really don't have a lot of Go West Side Officer Tate. Sheriff's Department, I'm on 12B, which is the Delano Riverside New Stadium area. We have a couple beats in District 6 out of Patrol West. Orchard Park area, which is 15B and 11B, which is 21st and Avenue, 13th and Avenue, 13th and State. The most important one is we're now accepting donations, $20 gift or less at Patrol West for WPD for shelters, and these go to Harbor House, Stepstone, and YWCA. And it's obviously for Christmas. And we're accepting all sorts of donations at Patrol West 8 to 5 Monday through Friday until December 20th. And I don't know if you're aware, but there's been some type of talk about is being looked into looking into gates at Riverside Park, Central Riverside Park, due to issues in the parking lot during the summertime. I don't know how far this is going to go, but we were getting complaints of activities in the park after it was supposed to be closed. But so an inquiry was made in the feasibility of gates. So that's where we are right now with just the inquiry. We haven't had any type of response back yet, as far as I'm aware.
That's just in the parking lot.
Yes, just in the parking lot, Central Riverside Park, on the north side.
There were some real
Yeah.
complaints about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What kind of activities?
Nefarious activities. Not necessarily about the homeless. It's about vehicles and parties and loud noise, loud cars, music. Not so much the usual activity from the homeless, but those with vehicles.
Hey, what about loud cars? Like loud, not at Riverside, just in general, like loud cars in a neighborhood, like they can be up and down the street all hours of the day, probably beyond drugs, but we don't know that for sure. But their cars are very loud and don't have a muffler on.
And those are tricky to enforce. The loud mufflers, because then you got the Harley bikes with those mufflers that are, all of them are loud. And so, and I'm not well versed in those ordinances in terms of vehicle and tickets and loud noise. If it is a modification where it just doesn't have a muffler, now that's an easy citation. But if it's modified to have a muffler and it has a muffler and it's loud, but we need a meter to figure out how loud it is. So, that's just for the sound. Now, if music is something completely different. Yeah, it's just a muffler. Yeah. But if it's up and down,
And we have
you can feel free to call 911.
We have a solution.
It's just that, do you have a solution? Okay.
Have another solution.
I'm not gonna ask.
All right, other questions for Officer Taylor? All right, thank you for joining us this evening.
And I'm Officer Brett Johnson. I'm on 41B, representing North Side. We got 2 new community policing officers. Officer Gerald, who was on 48B, just got promoted. He's now a detective. And then Officer Atondo, which was on 49B, just got moved to the west side of town. So those are getting filled by 48B will be Officer Villegas. Will be the new community policing officers for 48B, and for 49B will be Officer Steve Thornton. So those will be our 2 new community policing officers that they'll come by from time to time, I'm sure. You guys will get to meet them. For North Side, I did want to talk about, we are doing this new push with, have you guys heard about the license plate securities groups that we've been giving out? We did it, there was a news video that we did a while back. But essentially what we're having is we're having a lot of larcenies to autos. A lot of people breaking into cars as well as stealing license plates off of cars. And so with this push, what we're trying to do is get these screws that are a star-shaped screw with a security post in the center. So you can't just use any little thing to try and turn these screws. You can't use a Phillips head. You can't use a knife, anything like that to get your license plate off. You actually have to use the bit that we include with these screws in order to unscrew them. So it's really helping us out. So if you guys are looking for any of those, we have those at the patrol stations. I know Patrol North, we have quite a few. I'm sure Patrol West, you guys have some too. So if you guys are looking for those, we've been dropping them off at some of the places where we have a lot of our thefts for license plates, which tend to be larger apartment complexes. I know I dropped off a bunch over to the ones over Central and Waco. So we've been doing that. And other than that, we're seeing as the weather gets colder, just like it does every year, we're going to see more auto thefts. We're trying to remind people to make sure that you lock up your cars. Don't leave your car running when you run into the gas station. Don't leave your car running while you run into your apartment or whatever. The only way that I would leave my car running is if I had a keyless start. So that way it kind of helps you from somebody to be able to just take away your vehicle. But it takes a matter of seconds for somebody to break into cars and take off. So that's it for me on the north side. Does anybody have questions for me?
Do you have any of those screws on you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do actually out of my car. I can go and grab some. So I will grab a pack. Does anybody else want a pack?
Sure.
3 packs? Okay. All right, I'll grab those and be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, fire.
James just wants a little start, so let's do a license plates.
Captain Benfield representing our district here today, Station 3. Thank you for letting me talk to you guys today. October is our big push for prevention, so we had all that going on this month in the light of our areas. We had a lot of fires I looked at the total numbers. We had quite a few that had significant damages. We didn't have we didn't have loss of life, but we did have a substantially larger amount of fires that caused extensive damages. I mean, over $25,000. Some of them in way higher loan. Our area too, we've been seeing them on the rise. I don't think that's really out of character. Usually by October, when the cold weather hits, alternative heating sources, overloading on electrical equipment, things of that nature start getting the fires more prevalent. We had one fire we're personally aware of on West 35th Street. It was an overloaded court. With that, we have our community reduction. We went out and canvassed the neighborhood, and we do this thing, the flash. We basically just go out and subside any kind of rumors or anything like that. And I actually personally witnessed how this program can actually affect somebody. The elderly lady across the street actually was very interested, and she was, frankly, she was spot on. She was probably the next victim if we didn't take a look at what she had going on. She had overloaded circuitry, and she had nothing. We got her a couple smoke detectors, and we personally went out and put those up for her. And we talked about, we put out about 30 flyers, but we actually talked about 5 people in the neighborhood. So if that happens, if there's a situation that happens in those neighborhoods, anytime we have a fire, we always go back and talk to the neighborhood. That way there isn't some kind of like misinformation that comes around, because there's a lot, you never know what's going on. So we just go out, PD does the same thing, but we go out and do our part and do that. And I saw it work. It was a really nice deal. That's about it. I mean, I don't have anything else. PD's got all these fancy things going on. We've got the same things that's going on all the time. We have a little bit of a labor shortage, and I'm sure PD does too. So we're always wrestling with that, and we're making do what we have.
Saving lives, that's good.
Saving lives,
Right.
making people happy.
That's important.
Nathan?
Questions for Captain Benfield?
I have a quick question about what do we do with old fire extinguishers? Where do we take them, or how do we get
Old
rid of them?
fire extinguishers.
Yeah, like a little, one of those.
Like the ones that went out of date, like for you buy from,
I don't know. When I bought my house, there was just one in the basement. I imagine it's old.
I have to get back to them.
Okay.
I wouldn't know. I can't imagine them. They're not a hazardous material. They're
Okay.
an inert material, so I wouldn't imagine. Unless it was an old soda acid based one, like the little brass ones from the old days.
Okay, no,
Which
no,
you have a mint there.
No,
Sometimes
no.
those guys pay a lot of money for those as collectors. But
Darn.
I wish it was that old, but it's just like a
there are
bad
some.
old.
There are some that have chemicals. Okay, I wish I could remember the one chemical that's kind of a. But I mean, that's very old when you're talking about that. But otherwise, it's an inert material, so you could discharge it and throw it away.
Okay,
Play around with it and shoot it in the
Okay.
backyard.
all right. That's what I wanted to do.
There you go. So they have permission.
Oh, one thing I do want to kind of stoke is we've been getting a lot of calls because it's getting that fall. Get a lot of calls for open burns in the backyard that get out of hand. No, we just made one today. We've been. It's a personal choice how you deal with that. So there are regulations and rules. We always tell people to go to the City of Wichita website, and it actually will say what you can and cannot burn. Now, arbitrarily, you have to look at what they're burning. But if it's what I call yard fall, stuff that falls off the trees, and you cut it down and you put it in your chimenea, or you put it in your approved fire device, not a problem. The troubles we're getting with is people taking that to an advantage and getting outside of those parameters. And it's really something that we make calls on. I bet we make maybe 4 to 5 calls a week on in our area. So one of the things we could probably do, and I'll suggest to my father-in-law as well, is make sure that we reiterate the rules and regulations for those. Especially people that are burning what I call leaves. Right now, that's not approved, but there is a lot of people thinking, well, we can burn, so they're throwing leaves in there and just their fall fodder, really. So anyway, other than that,
Any other questions?
well, thank you very much.
Yep.
If you don't mind, we're gonna.
Yeah, I understand. Thank
Go
you guys for
fire.
coming out.
Although I'm in
Appreciate it.
this area, so I'm very, I'm always interested in what you guys say and come up with, so I always watch the views afterwards.
Good deal.
All right, thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming out. Appreciate it. All right, so this is the time on the schedule. On the agenda, if you have anything on public agenda that you want to talk about, things that aren't on the agenda. Anybody? You have something, Clayton? Can so if you would stand up and give your name,
Sure.
please? And-
Also, can I go ahead and set it on a computer room?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Do you have a USB drive?
Or effectively, yes. Name is Clayton Pearson, 1442 North Coolidge. And I did want to give some information on, it's actually 3 projects in a sense going on in the downtown area in regards to Douglas Street redesigns. There's a basically Douglas Design District, there's downtown, and then there's also a Better Blocks program. And they're all pretty related. I'll probably be back on these later, so I thought I'd kind of give a synopsis of why I'm for all 3 of those projects. Should be a PowerPoint. Yes. So, but I will focus a little bit more directly on the Better Blocks. I understand that project was put on hold a little bit, and a lot of info in the news on it, a lot of controversy, but the objections that I'm hearing on all of them all come down to congestion. The perception that if you reduce the number of bike lanes and reduce the number of traffic lanes with bike lanes. Nobody will go down there because it's too busy. The inferred idea that less congestion means success. So figure, well, let's go where there's not a whole lot of congestion. Best examples I can give is Town West in Cabela's. Not a whole lot of congestion. I wonder if the next economic downturn, whenever that comes, how vulnerable, how resilient are those areas there? And then if you look at the opposite, there's high congestion. Doesn't even involve cars. 35 bikes, 35 parking spots in front